Okay, this is similar to the last one, but what we're going to do here is we're going to constrain ourselves by requiring the use of a repeat until loop. A repeat until loop is similar to a while loop, except that we evaluate the condition at the end of the loop. The while loop, we evaluate the condition at the beginning of the loop. So we're not required to use an array here. So write code that prompts the user to enter marks for an exam for a class of 20. So we're going to repeat something 20 times, and marks below 0 and above 100 are invalid. So we're going to write a validation rule like we did in the first exercise. So let's start by using repeat until, and so we'll have a count, and count is assigned the value of 1, and we're going to repeat and then until count is equal to 20. And what we'll do is we can go ahead and write count, send the value of count plus 1. That's us explicitly incrementing the counter. So this is the logical equivalent of a for loop. A lot of this, the initialization and the incrementation and all of this is handled within the for loop, and it's a bit more hidden from us. So let's see, what we're going to do is we're going to prompt the user for the input data. So output, what are we entering? Enter marks, and we're going to read the mark. So mark is assigned the value of input. So we read the mark, and now we're going to do the same as in the first exercise. We use a while loop. We'll say while mark is less than 0, this is the error condition, or mark is greater than 100, then we know that this is an invalid mark, and we'll output error, enter value from 0 to 100. And there's our error message, and we will read the mark in again. So mark is assigned the value of input, and let's just get rid of my spelling mistake, my typing mistake, and we'll come over here, come back down, and we'll end our while loop. So now we know that the mark value, once it's passed it, made it through this loop, we know that it is a valid value. So we've validated it, and then what are we doing here? We're going to output the average marks at the end. So therefore, once again, we have to total up the marks. So we're going to say total is assigned the value of total plus mark. We are not using an array, and then that looks like that's it. We've incremented the counter here, so we need to come up here, and remember we're going to have a value for variable, so for average. So average is assigned the value of 0. That's the initialization of average, and we also know that we had over here mark. Now mark is not calculated. So mark is assigned the value of input. So you don't have to initialize mark here, but you wouldn't lose marks if you did. So you can. That's not something you lose marks for. So if in doubt, go ahead and initialize it up here. You just don't need to. But we do need to do it for total, because total gets its first value from a calculation. So therefore, we're going to do that for total. And then we're going to come down here, and after the loop ends, repeat until this condition is met. So I'm going to tab this over because that's within the loop. Repeat until this happens. Then what we're going to do is we're going to calculate our average. Average is assigned the value of total divided by count, the total divided by the number of items, and then we will output average mark and concatenate the value in the variable average. And that's how we would do this one.